Well, it's that time of year again for a whole new year, which means the internet is soon going to be overflowing with top 10 lists of the best movies of the year, if it hasn't already. Now, there's one thing that I do love conforming to, it's top 10 lists. The other 9 things I love conforming to will be a separate video. These are the top 10 best movies, my favorite movies of 2015 that I saw.
Number 10, Ex Machina. What, I can't have a movie that has a character named Caleb on my top 10 list? A cold and harrowing tale of science becoming too smart for our own good, Ex Machina plays a clever sleight of hand trick with its audience that I really appreciated. Not to mention the performances were great. This is a movie that banks its success on the abilities of its actors, and Domhnall Gleeson and Alicia Vikander's scenes are the highlights of the movie. And let's not forget that there's a funky dance number featuring Poe from Star Wars. Number 9, It Follows. I would have loved to put this one a little higher up on the list, but the wheels of its script need oiling, and there's some pretty big lapses in logic that took me out of the moment. You might say that disqualifies it from being on a top 10 best list. I say the ends justify the means. It Follows is a synth-drenched love letter to 80s style horror, from the character archetypes and plot flow right down to the framing and camera techniques. I saw this in a theater of loud teenagers who wouldn't shut up for the first 10 minutes, but once the plot got going and the tension started, everyone was quiet. When you can get kids of this generation quiet and on the edge of their seats, you have to be doing something right. Number 8, The Gift. Comedic actors trying to branch out into suspense has a success track record of a Broken Legs Anonymous meeting. They all try it but face plant into the ground at the word go. But Jason Bateman surprisingly helps elevate the tension and expectations of this movie to another level. It's one of those movies where you watch the trailer, then see the movie, and you walk out of it like, that was not what I was sold on with the trailer, but in a good way. I expected nothing but mediocrity with this movie, and it constantly played with my expectations. I really didn't know what was going to happen next, and that's hard for me to find. The Gift was definitely the sleeper hit of 2015 for me. Number 7, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. Do we really need more Mission Impossible movies? No. But as long as they're going to keep doing them, they might as well keep doing them well. Part of that, I think, is that Tom Cruise has both a personal and financial investment in the series now, and he has some control over what happens with them. Even outside of that, though, this has everything you want in a well-done spy movie. Gizmos, plan montages, cool suits, and a surprising moment from Simon Pegg that reminded me that he can elicit more reactions out of an audience than just laughter. Number 6, Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. Rinko Kikuchi's performance of a single-minded yet stubborn recluse is both sad and encouraging as we cheer for her on her hopeless quest. Combined with the Zellner brothers' talent for composition and framing makes for a captivating, if a little slow-paced, pilgrimage. The ending was a bit of a cop-out, but like the old saying goes, it's about the journey, not the destination. Number 5, Kingsman, The Secret Service. Perhaps this movie impressed me as much as it did because I had almost no expectations of it whatsoever, setting myself up for a surprise. Or maybe I was just so hard on for a Bond-style action movie that tied me over until Spectre came out that I would have eaten up anything. Or maybe it's just that good of a movie. No matter the case, Kingsman was some of the most fun I had at the theater this year. It has a wonderful kinetic energy to it, the kind of movie that 15-year-old Caleb would have walked out of the theater doing action stances and karate poses all the way outside. Colin Firth steals the show as the most charming ass-kicker in years, and Taron Egerton's breakout performance here will sure to secure him plenty of work in the years to come. Although, the bit at the end with the princess character was a bit much for me. It actually really ruined the how to be a gentleman theme of his character's arc. That gross part aside, loved it. Number 4, Inside Out. Oh, how I laughed at the concept of Inside Out when I first heard of it. The idea of personifying people's emotional states and have them literally driving people seemed way too on the nose for me, and I didn't think it could sustain an entire 3-act structure. Thank God I was 100% wrong. Not only does the idea give enough meat for the movie to sustain its audience, but it's really very clever. Its emotional intelligence and awareness shocked me, and I found myself addicted to and liking the characters almost immediately. Never let it be said that I can't admit when I'm wrong, especially if being wrong means having a great movie in the process. Inside Out is one of Pixar's best. Until they make an unnecessary sequel and fuck it all up. Number 3. Come on, what kind of top 10 best list would this be if it didn't feature the glorious return of one of the redefining sagas in film history? Now I'll go on record and say it isn't perfect. It's not even better than the originals, except maybe Return of the Jedi. But fuck me sideways, The Force Awakens was exactly the Star Wars movie we needed. All it really had to be was not the prequels and everyone would have been fine, but they went above and beyond to deliver a great movie. It's also a great return for J.J. Abrams, who has taken a step closer to the potential that I saw in him 10 years ago. In the past, he's always been skilled at making emotional highlights in his movies, but he's struggled to connect those highlights together with substantial story tissue. But here he absolutely nails it, and without knowing much of the goings-on with the movie, I'm going to give partial credit to Lawrence Kasdan with the assistance. The Force Awakens is just the right blend of the old and the new, told in an energetic and creative way that recaptures the magic of the original Star Wars. I can't believe I'm saying it, Star Wars is back, baby.
Chewie, we're home.
Number 2, The Hateful Eight. I'm not a gasper. I don't gasp at movies, I just don't. I sit there quietly and I internalize. But Tarantino's Western murder mystery got me more than once, which is saying something. Once our characters are established and we reach the cabin, the movie plays out like a play. But with all of Tarantino's witty panache, memorable characters, and affinity for blood and gore. And after all these years, you'd think we'd be used to Samuel Jackson's acting style at this point. But Hateful Eight gives him just the right materials he needs to turn out a performance slightly different that you'll remember for quite some time.
Move a little strange, you're gonna get a bullet. Not a warning, not a question, a bullet.
And hey, Kurt Russell even acts. After all these years, how about that? It's a Christmas miracle. And the number 1 spot, my favorite movie of 2015 is...
Out here, everything hurts. You want to get through this? Do as I say. Now pick up what you can and run.
Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road is a shining achievement in proving that action movies are not inherently stupid and cliched. When you get a filmmaking titan with vision and talent like George Miller involved, put together a team of artists and craftsmen that pour their blood and sweat into a project, and then ground it with three-dimensional characters that have real urgency and drive to them, an action movie can have just as much of an impact on a given culture as a multi-award-winning art piece. It was both exhilarating and thoughtful, loud and nuanced, otherworldly and familiar. You have no business not seeing this movie.
Hey, what's your name?
And that's it. Those are my favorite movies of 2015. Right about now, I'm expecting that some of you are probably sitting there wondering, hold on, what about Black Mass? What about The Martian, Spotlight, Spectre, Creed? Where were those on your list? Well, stay tuned. Next video is the worst movies of 2015.